So I was scrolling through the news, um, and I see Andrew Yang bitching about the fact that he didn't get enough attention on stage at the Democratic debate. And I found that to be very interesting because I recall last year I went to one of Andrew Yang's, and you can look at my YouTube video where I was back home in Detroit, and I went to one of Andrew Yang's his uh, one of his rallies, and it just so happened to be in my hometown. And as a veteran, um, I felt like it was important to have some questions answered about this stipend that he is proposing and how it coordinates with different benefits. I went to his rally early. I was the first one there. I raised my hand several times, and I saw him circle around and answer questions from other people. Um, this is, of course, my opinion and how I feel about how it's perceived, but it's just the way that he looked at me. And I've got a lifetime experience of being a minority, of being looked at by people, and I know when somebody looks at you and they think less of you. And the fact that you can call on somebody to my left and to my right multiple times, and I've got my hand in the air, and you never call on me, and I'm the first person there. And it just so happened I remember it like it was yesterday because I feel like this is so disrespectful. I was the first person there, and I was asking questions of his to his staff in hopes that they could answer that question for me, so I didn't even have to go to him. Um, and they couldn't answer the question. Say, hey, you need to ask him directly. And when I started to see that he was wrapping up and they weren't going to take any more questions, I felt pissed because I felt like my time was wasted. I drove all the way out there and I sat there to hear you out because I was being open minded to, you know you know what his views were. But I saw then, and I said, you know what, this is a person of privilege, um, because how dare you come to the city of Detroit where the group was visibly not native Detroit people. They were implants, they were immigrants, people from different countries who settled in Detroit. You could look at some of the people in there and tell the people who are from Detroit, you have Detroit kind of written on you. The way that you dress, the way that you carry yourself. There's just a culture, and it's really difficult to explain to someone else who's not from Detroit. And that's why I feel like I have a problem because a lot of people who came, and including him, have business interests that are in the city of Detroit, but you haven't been through what the people of Detroit have been through. And for you to come there and overlook the community says something about your character. And I was disgusted by that. So now you have Andrew Yang saying, oh, well, I was at the dim and I was overlooked. Well, let me tell you the reason why you get overlooked. Because you're a one issue candidate. The answer to everything that I heard you respond to was your $1,000 stipend. Oh, well, what happens when the rental rates go up and the $1,000 won't cover the rental rates? Oh, well, it'll just be okay. Well, how does that affect the black community who are being redlined? How does that $1,000 help people who can't even live in certain communities? You don't care nothing about that, and you don't have no answers to nothing like that. The only thing that you say is throw the money out there. Throwing the money out there does not fix racial inequities. And if you're guilty of it yourself, you have no business going to complain to anybody else saying that you aren't being heard. You need to look at yourself in the mirror first. And all I can say is karma's a bitch and you get what you deserve. You don't just ignore people and think that it won't circle back around to you. So, that's all I got to say is what you put out there, that's what you get back. And it's been a year from me. I done heard your camp try to drag me all over social media of, oh, you should have stayed after and had your questions answered there because you think that I'm a small person and my voice doesn't count. But what you're finding out now is that you thought you was big shit, but now that you're on that big stage, people are really looking at you and people are really going to question Why is somebody gonna sit up here and ask you an array of questions when all you give is that bullshit answer about $1,000 a month? That does not fix all of the issues that we have going on, and you're not worthy to be a president. You don't have that leadership quality. You don't even interact with. You look uncomfortable everywhere that you go, and so like I said, it's disgusting that you have people like this that want to be in leadership positions, but you feel like that you can just ignore little people. Little people are the people that you need to be looking at, because these are the people that are going to have a taste in their mouth. And we know how you act when you come to Detroit. Them people that come and visit here, those people don't have the numbers that we have. So when the little people speak up, who have been to your rallies, who get ignored, who don't get questions answered, when we speak up, people listen on a large scale. And that's what you're seeing when you go to these debates, and people ain't trying to hear what you got to say, because you don't have any credible answers to give when there's an issue. Oh yeah, you disagree with racial disparities, but what are you fucking doing? What are you gonna do to fix any of it? You're gonna throw $1,000 at me? If somebody's discriminating against me for living somewhere, what's $1,000 gonna do? What's $1,000 gonna do for me when I'm being discriminated against? You don't have no answers for that. You don't have no background in that. And the experience that I have with you says that you don't care nothing about that. So you can go on and continue to be ignored as far as I'm concerned. And you get what you dish out, but you the one that can't take it.